Okay, imagine this. Imagine having such extraordinary mental clarity. Like you could actually observe the components of your own consciousness, watch them as they, arise and then just dissolve moment by moment. What would that even be like? Well, today we're taking a deep dive into an ancient text that gives us a pretty profound glimpse into exactly that kind of state. We're looking at the Anupadasuttaṃ.
Right. The discourse on sequential analysis. It's a really fascinating piece from the Buddhist tradition.
And our mission, really, is to unpack this incredible mental journey. It's the journey of the Venerable Sāriputta, one of the Buddha's chief disciples, as he practices something called Anupadasuttaṃ vipassana.
A very specific type of insight meditation.
Exactly, and you're going to discover how Sariputta just systematically, step by step, analyzed the very fabric of his consciousness in these incredibly deep meditative states. It really shows a path to profound understanding and, liberation. And Sariputta, he's not just some historical figure, is he?
Yeah.
He's really known for being this towering intellect, a spiritual heavyweight in the tradition.
Oh, absolutely. And the text itself, it kicks off straight away by just showering him with praise for his wisdom. It really sets the scene.
How does it describe him?
Well, it's striking. It's not just wise. It piles it on. Wise, greatly wise, widely wise, joyfully wise, swiftly wise, sharply wise, and penetratively wise.
Wow.
Yeah, and these aren't just, compliments. They're pointing to a mind that's perfectly geared up for this kind of deep analytical insight. The kind of insight his practice, this Anupadasuttaṃ vipassana, really demands. He was clearly a master observer.
Okay, so this practice, Anupadasuttaṃ vipassana, the name itself, it suggests something step by step or sequential. What does that actually mean in practice? To meticulously observe the bits and pieces of your experience like that. How is it different from just, say, general mindfulness?
That's a really good question. At its heart, it's about seeing phenomena which the text calls dhammas, basically all the mental and physical things happening in your experience, seeing them not as solid things, but as processes.
Okay, like frame by frame.
Exactly like that. Instead of just watching the whole movie, you're seeing each individual frame. And the crucial insight Sariputta gets again and again at every stage is this. Thus, indeed, these phenomena, having not been, come into being. Having been, they cease.
So they weren't there, then they appear, then they disappear.
Precisely. This constant, really vivid perception of impermanence, of arising and ceasing, that's what starts to unravel our attachment to these things. It leads to this profound sense of release, liberation.
And this wasn't just a quick afternoon session, right?
Yeah.
The text says he dedicated half a month to this.
Yeah, a full half month, which is just incredible dedication, real focus, a deep, deep immersion into his own mind.
So where does his journey begin in the text?
It starts with the first jhana. This is a meditative state where the mind has pulled back from everyday sensual stuff and, negative mental states.
Right.
It's marked by vitakka and vikara. That's like the initial placing of the mind on an object and then keeping it there, sustained attention. Plus, there's piti, this sense of rapture or intense joy, and sukha, which is pleasure, and it's all held together by citta-gāgata, strong one-pointedness of mind.
So very focused, pleasant state.
Very. But here's the thing. Sariputta doesn't just sit back and enjoy it. He dissects it. He meticulously looks at all the dhammas, the components, making up this experience.
Like what specifically?
Things like contact, feeling, perception, volition, consciousness itself, desire, determination, energy, mindfulness, equanimity, attention. The whole package.
Wow, it's neat.
Incredibly detailed. And he sees each one individually as it arises, as it's present, and then as it ceases. He sees they're not permanent, and the result, the text says he becomes unattached, unbound, disjoined, liberated from them.
Liberated even from the pleasant state itself.
Yes, but, and this is crucial, even in that state of peace, he recognizes there is a further escape. He knows there's more to go.
Interesting. So he doesn't settle. He moves on to the second jhana.
Exactly. He lets the mind deepen. Those initial mental activities, vitakka and vikara, they calm down. And this leads to an even deeper inner quiet, a stronger one-pointedness, born purely from the concentration itself. Still has that joy and pleasure, the piti and sukha.
And does he do the same analysis there?
He does. The exact same meticulous observation. He looks at the specific dhammas of this state, the tranquility, the pleasure, and sees them arise and pass away. Same insight. Impermanence.
So he's constantly reinforcing that understanding.
Constantly. And he remains free, not identifying with these states, however pleasant. Always aware that the path continues, there's still a further escape.
Okay, then comes the third jhana. What changes here?
Well, in the third jhana, that intense rapture, the piti, it starts to fade away. It's replaced by something more subtle, more profound. He stays in this state of equanimity, very mindful, very clearly aware, and experiences a more gentle kind of pleasure, sukha, often described as felt with the body.
The text calls it something like equanimous, mindful, abiding in pleasure.
That's the one. It's considered a very balanced and noble state, and again, the process repeats. He observes the specific elements, the equanimity, the subtle pleasure, the mindfulness, the clear comprehension, the one-pointedness, sees their arising and ceasing.
Still seeing them as impermanent.
Always. It ensures he doesn't get attached even to this very refined pleasure. He sees it's just another temporary phenomenon, and he still knows there is a further escape.
And that leads him to the fourth jhana. This one sounds quite different.
It is. In the fourth jhana, both pleasure and pain are completely abandoned. All the previous joy and sorrow, gone. What's left is pure equanimity and pure mindfulness. The feeling associated with it is described as neither painful nor pleasant, just pure, clear awareness.
A state of real clarity, then.
Extraordinary clarity and mental purity, yes. And even here, Sariputta meticulously observes its unique components, that powerful equanimity, the sharp mindfulness. He gains the same insight. They arise, they pass away. They're not a permanent refuge.
So even in this incredibly refined state, he's still unattached, still seeing that potential for deeper freedom.
Precisely. He remains completely free, discerning that the journey isn't quite finished. There's still a more complete liberation possible.
So after mastering these jhanas, these states connected to, well, refined mental form, where does he go next?
He moves beyond form altogether into what are called the formless attainments, or the arupayatanas. The first is the dimension of infinite space.
Infinite space, how does that work?
He transcends all perceptions of physical form, any sense of resistance or boundary, and focuses purely on the concept, the experience of space as limitless, infinite.
And does he analyze that too?
Oh, absolutely. Even in this incredibly vast, formless state, he keeps up the rigorous observation. He looks at the specific mental factors, the dhammas, connected to experiencing boundless space, that feeling of vastness itself.
And sees it arise and cease.
Sees it arise and cease. It keeps him totally unbound. He recognizes that even infinite space is a conditioned experience. It's impermanent, and therefore he knows there's still further to go.
Okay, so from infinite space.
He goes deeper, transcending space to contemplate infinite consciousness.
And the same process applies.
The same method, exactly. He observes the unique mental events associated with experiencing consciousness as infinite, boundless, notes their arising, their ceasing. That core insight holds true.
So he doesn't get caught up in the grandeur of infinite consciousness either.
Nope. He experiences that freedom of not identifying even with that, still seeking that deeper release.
What comes after infinite consciousness?
He transcends that and moves into the dimension of nothingness, contemplating literally there is nothing.
That sounds very subtle.
Extremely subtle. It's about focusing on the absence of the previous state, the axis of infinite consciousness. But even here, in this perception of absence, the practice holds. He observes the dhammas related to perceiving nothingness, watches them arise and pass.
Still unattached.
Still completely unburdened by identifying with it. Still recognizing there's a further ultimate freedom beyond this.
And the final step in these formless realms.
That's the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception, transcending even the perception of nothingness.
Neither perception nor non-perception. I mean, that's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
It is incredibly subtle, yes. Perception isn't fully there, but it's not completely gone either. It's a state beyond conventional description. But what's truly remarkable, and the text emphasizes this, is that even when he emerges from this almost inconceivable state, he still applies that same insight. He looks back at all the past phenomena, everything that arose and ceased, everything that changed, and sees them with that same understanding. They came into being, they existed for a time, then they ceased.
Wow, so that core insight just permeates everything, no matter how subtly experienced.
Exactly. It shows the incredible power and stability of his analytical clarity, the depth of his liberated mind.
Which brings us to the absolute peak, doesn't it? The text talks about the cessation of perception and feeling.
That's right, the Nirodha Samapatti. This is the culmination of the path he's been treading.
And what happens in that state?
The text says that here, through his wisdom, Sariputta's defilements are destroyed. The asavas, the deep-seated mental taints or outflows that cause suffering.
So this is it, final liberation.
This signifies complete and final liberation, yes. The ultimate freedom from suffering. And crucially, even upon emerging from this state, the highest attainment, that fundamental insight into the arising and ceasing of all phenomena remains. It's the bedrock of his now profound and unshakable freedom.
It's really quite something, what he achieved. And the text, it doesn't hold back on praising him afterwards, does it?
Not at all. He's described as having attained mastery, attained perfection, in noble virtue, noble concentration, noble wisdom, and noble liberation. It's just this incredible summary of his entire spiritual accomplishment.
A real testament to a lifetime's work.
Absolutely. And then there's this really powerful description. He's called the Buddha's true son, born of the mouth, born of the Dhamma, created by the Dhamma, an heir to the Dhamma, not an heir to material things.
An heir to the Dhamma. What does that really mean?
It's hugely significant. It means he didn't just, listen to the teachings and nod along. He embodied them. He understood their deepest essence and was able to transmit that essence, that path to awakening, to others. He truly lived it.
He carried the torch, so to speak.
Exactly. And that leads to the final powerful statement in this section. Sariputta rightly rolls onward the supreme wheel of Dhamma that the Buddha himself set in motion.
So he's essentially continuing the Buddha's work, ensuring the teachings live on.
Precisely. It highlights his absolutely vital role in preserving and sharing these profound teachings for everyone who came after.
So stepping back from the detail,
Mm-hmm.
what does this whole journey mean for us, listening today? We've taken this deep dive into Sariputta's mind, watching this incredibly meticulous step-by-step insight unfold, seeing him move through the jhanas, the formless states, always observing how things arise and cease. It really is a powerful testament to what the human mind is capable of, isn't it?
It really is. And I think it's important to remember this isn't just some ancient story disconnected from us. It's a profound illustration of what focused attention and analytical wisdom can actually achieve. It shows you the possibility of understanding your own inner world, your own mind, at an incredibly deep level.
Seeing beyond just the surface noise.
Exactly. Seeing the fleeting nature of our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
What might it mean for you to try and observe your own mental states, your emotional states, with even a fraction of that kind of clarity?
Yeah.
To see them not as these fixed, solid things that define who you are, but more like dynamic processes, things that just arise or present for a bit and then naturally pass away on their own. What kind of freedom, even in small ways, might that bring into your daily life? How might it help you navigate the ups and downs with maybe a little more space, a bit more ease? Something to consider.